Welcome to part 2 of Amiensus Reclamation. The first track is called Sulfadio. Interesting. I love that, where someone's hitting a hammer on an anvil. That's sick. Oh, tunnel throat. Demon War gear vibes here, dude. Okay. Sulfadio, I believe it's Latin for sun, by the way. I think. It's Latin for something. Icelandic for sun. Okay. Ooh, nice. I love that. The throat singing. Wait, what? Is that you guys doing that? No way. Get the fuck out of here. That can't be you guys. Oh, dude. That's sick. I can't do it, bro. Fucking monk shit. I'm loving this, dude. You would figure that the black metal would come from the part of the war, not the triumph. It's a very paradoxical thing to put into an album. Black metal would be like fighting and shit, but ambience would be the triumph. But they did it opposite. I love that anvil sample you've added in there. It's really cool. In case you guys didn't know, a lot of bands out there add samples into their music. It helps with production. It gives that wow factor. That was a really sick song. Acquiescence.
Feeling emotions that I never had. Speaking in tongues, I think
I'll never forget the band that got me into black metal, bro, and that was Winter Horde. Finally started listening to it after that song.
plug me in, shock it all away. Visions of futures that I've never
I get more of a vibe from these guys here with this part. I knew what was coming. I knew something was coming. Dude, I like this part better. Definitely dying kind of approach with the guitars here. Oh. Oh, I love that bass tone. That's Parallax. That's Parallax, dude. Wow. Oh my god. Yeah, this is better than part one. Already. The fuck is that? Very Opeth vibes with this one. I love this reverb. It sounds like you got like a record player underneath this, or like a fire. Is that a fireplace or a broken record? Disconsolate. Vinyl player effect used on it. That's sick, dude. That's sick. I like that. Brings out that vibe. It's like an old kind of sounding tape. Kind of like Opeth did with their recent track, Section. It was a really good track. Very excited for the new album. Listen to the ambience, dude. This is more folk. Now I know why Alex said folk. Sounds like the Oregon Trail if it was in space. A lot of you are too fucking young to remember the Oregon Trail. That game was a shit, dude. Show my age here, sorry. Never heard of them. But if he said it's on there, fuck, we'll put it on there. I like this one. This is a good one, dude. This whole album is good so far. The vocals seem like they got turned up on this too. Wow. Very World Suspension vibes going on with this ambience too. Awesome. That's 3 songs I've added to my playlist so far. Woo! The Kane Godchild. Love that bass, dude. Jason's killing it on the fucking vocals, dude. I love it. Very Lazuli dying, dude. I wasn't expecting to hear Lazuli dying on this. those guitars. Dude, this is so sick, bro. I'm gonna add this one too. That's 4 added to my playlist already on this album. Very Allegiant too. Puts in the lows. Riley left the band, but dude, he was perfect in that band, dude. I don't know why the fuck they kicked him out or he left. God, Damn Them was such a fucking amazing album. Oriental vibes? Sounds like a cello here, violin or viola here, cello. Very cool, dude. You added a Kato or Kato. The Distance, featuring Lars Nedlin. We're getting goosebumps, dude! Oh! Who's Lars Nedlin? Never heard of him. No way! That's sick. Oh my god, this is such a great track already. Already getting at it. Oh, that's epic, bro. Don't you just love networking? I love networking. Love meeting new people. Never know where it's going to take you on your journey in life. Ooh, man, this song is awesome. Oh man. God, listen to that harmony. Oh man. What a voice this guy's got. Holy crap. This course is fucking amazing, man. Listen to that harmony, dude. Didn't I predict this will be my favorite on the album? I'm pretty sure I did on Facebook. I'm pretty sure I predicted this was my favorite. I was right. Listen to that freaking symphony, dude. Absolutely beautiful. Hands down the best track on this album, dude. Wow. That needs a fucking music video. That's the best track on this album, dude. Leprosarium. That needs a music video. What? Whoa. Oh, that low guttural, dude. Who is that? Is that Alec? Oh, it has to be.
Away.
so sick. This is another good one. It's got like a tech death kind of vibe to it a little bit. Whoa. Dude, the drums! Yeah! Sound like a fucking machine gun. I like it, it's very technical. I'm glad that you guys decided to go a different genre with this album. Oh, nice automation with that. That was cool. The whole album to my playlist. So much better than part one. Holy fuck. I gotta know what you were thinking the first time you listened to this album, dude. Probably fucking creaming your pants, weren't you? Oh my god, bro. 3 back-to-back banger tracks in a row, dude. Orb of Vanishing Light, our finale. Who do you guys go to get these visualizer videos where they make the art move? Dude, I gotta figure out who to go for that. You gotta hook me up, man, please. a sick ass album this is, dude. I love it. Yeah! He's using tunnel throw, dude. Yeah! I love it. Love the old English style font too. Yeah, dude. Whoever that is. I don't know who that is. Is that Abigail Williams? Right? That's Abigail Williams? Oh, man. What a whole fucking 180 this album is, man. Holy crap. Easily the best part of this whole album. He was on Millennium, right? That was the name of the track? That's it. I really hope this album gets you guys known, man. Really good. Oh, I love the drums. Wow. This album's way better, bro. Way better. I added every single song on this album, bro. Every single track on this album was fucking fire. Let's talk to the boys. Wow. Dude, just a complete 180 from what I just heard in part one. Like, it's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous that you guys are able to pull this off as a band. You know, it's like, if someone never heard you before and they just listen to part one and then they listen to this, it's like, they would be like, it sounds like a completely different band. It's it's crazy, dude. This is really good, man.
I think we tie it in, though. I think we tie it in.
This was really fucking good. So about your guys' sound, I wanted to mention something. So you guys, as James said, he said you have that Amiensus sound. That's what I want to do for my project as well. I want to create that new genre that people have never heard of, which is new awakened ambience, which is new metal, ambience, and industrial metal. I coined the term, but that's what I want from my audience too, and for you guys to just explore and to experiment into this new world of melodic black metal is just, it's crazy, dude. The evolution of you guys is nuts. Cause like hearing all of your albums and now this has got to be one of your best works, dude. This second part right here, one of your best works, dude. It's really good.
Thank you.
The first one, not so much. But like I said, the vocals are not this. The vocals, man.
Gave it a 9.25, dude.
Yeah, but still, the vocals need to be turned up, and I couldn't give it a 10.
So I understand that. So, but I am going to say that the whole part 1 and part 2 was mixed as one single file.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
there is no difference in the vocals.
Really? That's fucking wild.
Correct.
It must be my fucking headphones. Sorry. All right, guys. We're gonna.
it's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's possible that some of the automation got like bumped up a little
True.
bit here and there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna jump into this review, and then I'll be back. All right. So, pause picks. Number 1 on this track. Number 1 on this album is "The Distance," featuring Lars Nedlund. Absolutely phenomenal track, dude. The chorus on this track is just epic as fuck, dude. Let alone Lars's voice on this track is just amazing. I'm surprised you guys opened up with his voice and then James came in later. Normally, the artist, when they feature someone, they're the first one to sing, but you guys put him first. That's really cool. I like that. My second favorite is Leprosarium, dude. This track was a fucking ride with gutturals from Alec. Wasn't expecting that. That was cool. And then hearing just the tunnel throat on James's fucking voice, so sick. And then my third favorite, Decaying Godchild. These 3 tracks right here, dude, are just what makes this album, in my personal opinion. They are the trio. The trio of songs that I could just listen to over and over again from this album. Dude, they're just amazing. It's just awesome. Album MVP. I think it's a time to give James what he deserves. James, you are getting it, man. James Benson finally gets album MVP. Finally gets album MVP. Whatever the fuck blessed up means. that sounds like some Gen Z, John Alpha shit, dude. Yeah, dude. Phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. Oh, you're younger than me? Holy shit. I didn't know that. Dude, phenomenal. Just, dude, your vocal style on this album here really showed. It really showed. I like the fact that you were experimenting with tunnel throat there. And just, yeah, sick, bro. I think it's the first you've ever done that. I didn't really hear that in the older albums, but here, I can hear it really well. And you nailed it, dude. That was fucking amazing vocals on this. Similarities for this part of the album. Number 1 similarity for this part of the album, Emperor. Emperor, it has Emperor vibes, dude. It's very black metal. It's got the Isan vibes and stuff. And it's got this very fast paced. And which reminds me, why did you guys pick black metal for the Triumph and then Ambience for the War? Second, probably an Abstract Illusion. Yeah, I'm getting the same vibes from them from this party album, from these guys right here. Yeah, I'm still getting the same vibes. Like I gave them to you guys before in an album reaction. I think it was Ascension. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, definitely they're up there. Number 3. I guess we'll give it to my my patron. You said Aquilus. I never listened to him before. But yeah, I guess we'll give it to them. So we'll pick from the audience this time. Aquilus. If you guys know any good pants, not good pants. If you guys know any good tracks, put them down in the comments by Aquilus. Or you can request it after the stream if you're in here. Why did I put Oprah? No, not fucking Oprah. Goddamn autocorrect. Opeth. Opeth will be number 4. Opeth. Opeth fucking autocorrected to Oprah. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? That would be number 4 for sure. Just the ingenuity in this part. Very, very Opeth. Don't you dare bump Devin, bro. Alright. Sorry, off subject. And our final similarity to this, I probably have to go with Allegiant, dude. Yep, Allegiant's probably going on there because it really brought out Damn Them vibes throughout this whole album. Yeah, I really like this. I really like this part. It's definitely the best part of this whole 2-part double album. Genre. Alright, so I'm just going to say it. There's no more black and ambience on this. There's still prog. But we're just going to jump in straight in black metal. This is black metal. This is a black metal part of the album. Technical. It's a very technical part of the album, man. Especially with the guitars. Even the singing sometimes I got kind of like tech death kind of feels from it. Speaking of death metal would be the next one. As far as this part of the album. Not really any symphonies in here. I don't really hear it too much. Still get the melodic vibes. So yeah, we'll give it the melodic. And then our final genre would be... prog. Yeah, we'll get it to prog. The implication! The triumphant druid has won the battle. And now the darkness is being taken over by the light. This is her winning the battle against evil, against nature, or to reclaim her place in the forest. That's how I feel. This is the triumph. This is the victory. It's the victory of the druid. And yeah, definitely really, really sick. I love this. This is a great part. My rating for this is an over 9,000 out of 10. Absolutely fucking flawless part. I love it. It's great. Which leads me to my final rating to the double album. So I gave the first part a 9.25 out of 10. I gave the second part an over 9,000 out of 10. Amiensus Reclamation as a whole is getting a 9.95 out of 10. It's just that little part in the first part where I can't hear the vocals too well. And that is where you're missing the 0.05. But other than that, it's a fucking fantastic album. Great job, boys. Great fucking job. Alright, guys, let's get your thoughts.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
You're gonna slap me? Why are you gonna slap me? You know I can't go easy on these guys. Come on. Oh, dude. It's not better than Ascension.
Wow.
You really like Ascension.
There's just something about that album, bro.
There's one other person, and I don't think they're going to watch this, but in the perchance that you do, Zolt, you know who the fuck you are. He is very much in the same category. And I thought it was hilarious when you brought up As I Lay Dying, because, like, yeah, we all know who that band is, but absolutely none of us, like, have spent more than 10 minutes listening to As I Lay Dying in our lives, probably.
Yeah.
But Zolt brought up, so, like, Zolt's been around, like, as a friend fan for, like, probably 10 years. And
Wow.
I sent him the album at the end of last year, and he listened to it, and his first thought about part 2 was, like, black into metalcore.
Yeah,
And
I
I
was
was like-
almost gonna give it metalcore, but I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
nah.
And to be fair, so, like, Leprosarium, Alec wrote Leprosarium, and
Really?
there's some metalcore influence. I guess I would categorize his favorite band of all time, Black Dahlia Murder, as technically metalcore, like melodic death metal, but kind of metalcore in there too.
Yeah, kind of a Melodef. That was the one I was gonna pick.
Yeah, for sure, and a little bit of the tech, like a little bit of the tech death in their shit, in that too as well.
Yeah. I heard a Legion in there. That whole album, dude. That was a Legion
Yeah.
for sure. But dude, oh, it was fantastic, dude. You guys really outdid yourself on this one. I don't know, like
Thank you.
that's. And I'm sorry I can't give you guys an over 9,000 out of 10, but dude, Ascension is just.
Hey, 9.95 is pretty good.
fuck,
Yeah.
man. And you guys will be getting
We-
a short, by the way, on Instagram. So James knows I'll tag him and all that bullshit. So
Yep.
Sounds good.
when I find time, because I'm gonna be really busy these next 2 months. But yeah.
All good.
Awesome. So I want your guys' thoughts on the whole process. How you thought the review went. What's your 3 favorite songs on this, or what's your favorite song on this? The same thing. I would like to get your guys' kind of 2 cents on this part.
Yeah. So I'll give you kind of my like entire thought about Reclamation as a whole, because
Okay.
while it's been 4 years since our last record, we pretty much wrote most of this. We wrote part 1 pretty much immediately after A Reaction was done. So like May of 2020 to like October, right? But when we released a reaction in October 2020, a lot of those tracks were done. And then part 2 was pretty much written in 2021. So part 1, in my view, is kind of like, if you are a fan of Restoration, part 1 is probably going to resonate with you more because, and I'm saying this as like, not as like a propping myself up, but like I wrote more of the tracks on part 1, and so I do have that kind of folkier songwriting style. It's got more folk elements to it. It's more like kind of like melodic black metal to it. Part 2 is more Joe, Alec, and Kelsey. Kelsey and Alec wrote on part 1. Joe wrote on part 2.
Wow.
His songs were Sofarth, The Distance, and Orb of Vanishing Light.
That's such a good song, bro. The Distance. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
And fun fact about that, like we threw that song at Lars with like zero direction. We're like, here's the lyrics we had.
Really?
And he literally wrote all his vocals, and then I went and wrote the harsh vocals afterwards.
Wow.
Like, no direction. He just like sent us all of those tracks back. We didn't have him re-record anything at all.
All
We're just
dry.
like,
He
yeah,
sent you
this
all
is-
dry vocals or with
Yep.
effects and shit?
Nope, just dry
Dry,
vocals,
yeah.
and was just like, here, plop that in. We did, and we were like, fuck it, this is perfect.
Wow.
But yeah, so I mean, I feel like part 1 is kind of more towards the like folkier elements. Like if you liked Restoration, that's probably your part. If you liked Ascension, I think part 2, I get why that resonates with people who like Ascension more. I wrote less guitar on Ascension, for example, and then by far than like Restoration was more me, and then Ascension was way less me. My favorite track on part 2 is probably Decaying Godchild.
Yeah, that's a good
Because the like we haven't for a while, at least for a long time since Ascension, so almost 10 years, done like a breakdown, and the really chuggy part with a solo over it,
one. Yeah.
which was one of Kelsey's riffs, is very like, it gives me Death, the band Death, like it gives me like symbolic Death era vibes a ton, but it's in drop G.
Wow. You guys use 8 strings or 7 strings?
So I write everything in DADGAD on a 6.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the time Kelsey and Alec then like go and convert some of it to either A standard on a 7 string or drop G on a 7 string.
Yeah, man.
So it's basically D standard with an A in A standard, or D standard with a G, so it's drop G.
What about you?
What do you think, Aaron?
guys?
Yeah, I would say, I agree with Jimmy. Just talking about the culmination of part 1 and 2, I think it does what I like about it is I do think it captures the Amiensus sound that, it sounds pretentious, I guess, to keep saying it, just because I feel like we've always struggled to.
Fuck no,
find a
dude.
good-
Enjoy that.
we've always
Enjoy your
struggled
guy
to find a
having
way-
the sound.
Yeah, no, I just mean we've always struggled like trying a way to like describe our sound, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think the 2 albums do a really good job of grabbing every part of what I like about Amiensus, specifically in terms of like you have like the more melodic, folksy, down songs, and then you obviously have the more brutal, like literally like brutal blast beats and all that stuff, going into that. And it's kind of funny, and Jimmy and I have talked about this before, where like we've seen people online like complain about that, where they're like, we don't really know like what they're doing or like what their sound is, but then like we see the exact opposite, where people are like, oh, I love that they do this, and they always are going to different types of sounds, and that's never bothered us. Like we're just gonna write what
The fan,
right,
bro,
and-
the fan bases are just, you can't always please one person. You gotta try to
right,
please
and it's
everyone.
a very small minority that I think has ever said that. But anytime we do, we kind of laugh, because we're just like, well, that's what most people like about Amiensus, I think, is just there's such a wide spectrum of music, and I think overall Jimmy specifically does a good job of like picking out the things that are going to work well with an Amiensus, just in terms of like when riffs get brought to the table and at first glance they might not seem to really fit something, they ultimately get morphed in, as we were talking previously. So I think I agree with everything you were saying in the review as well. If I had to pick, a song or two that are my favorites. The ones that I go back to the most are probably Decaying Godchild and The Distance. I think just Decaying Godchild is just like the ultimate hype song for me. Like, I just think when that chorus hits and the guitars hit, it's just like, I don't know. It just is like, it just really does it for me. And then The Distance is just as epic, but in a completely different way. So Lars nailed that. And it was one of those things where when Jimmy sent it to me, he's like, oh yeah, we got Lars to do it. And I was like, what? Because like, Borknagar is not a band that I've like listened a ton of, but I've like been very aware of just like their presence, I guess, in our genre of music, and obviously much bigger band than us, but like one that I know Joe's mentioned over the years a lot and talked about being influenced a lot by. So just the fact that we were able to get somebody like that to be on the album's pretty cool, and makes me excited for what
the future holds.
What other features we're gonna have for the next album and things like that. So,
you guys, dude, in my 2 cents, I think you should hit these guys for a feature. You should have those guys for a feature. Well, actually, you guys didn't get to see that. It's delayed, right? So, Run, Abstract of Illusion. Dude, hit up Desiderium. I think Desiderium would be a good feature for your guys' band, too.
Check it out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, what do you got, Todd?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I know Desiderium because it's...
Dua Lipa.
Well, Todd will be all about that. I'll tell you what.
Hey, dude.
Did I say Dua Lipa somehow?
No, somebody in the comments said Amiensus
featuring
Dua
okay.
Lipa.
Hey,
I was just saying.
I'm fucking down for that.
Yeah.
I'd take that. Future nostalgia is sick. There's so many groovy bass lines on that.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I know Desiderium because of Alex, one of the guitarists, or the guy behind the project, is one of the guitarists in Archaic.
Really?
For the past like 6-7 years, and I've been listening to Archaic since probably 2010 or even a little bit earlier than that. So yeah, I definitely know like that project.
Aria is such a good album, bro. I had to buy it. I was like, so fucking good.
But yeah, I think like I'm glad you were able to do this in a stream format that included both parts, because I don't know if we've like clarified fully before that it was all composed kind of and put together as one whole structure, and wasn't originally planned to be split into 2. Just part of why having an extra song kind of made one side a lot longer, the other side a little bit shorter at 38 minutes. But yeah, I'm just like happy that we could cover kind of all our bases in a journey that feels like it makes emotional, like storytelling kind of sense, musical storytelling sense to bring it from the beginning of part 1 to the end of part 2. So I'm really happy with what we created, and just I mean everyone brought their A game for this.
Yeah,
so
man, it's a great album.
Really happy with that. In terms of favorite songs, I would say definitely The Distance, because it's just so insane to me still that we got Lars to do vocals on that. Just from listening to his music over the years, that was just a huge treat to be able to work with him and to hear, the dry vocals are just amazing. Like we barely had to touch them. So that was crazy cool, because I think a lot of people with like recording, they prefer to kind of mix in effects and stuff, so that you kind of
can't do that. When you sorry for interrupting you, but you can't do that in the spectrum of being an engineer, of being a producer myself, where I fucking mix and master my own music, right? So when someone sends me a track with effects and stuff, and it doesn't go along with what I have in my EQ system, what I have in my compression system, what I have in my automation, just send me the dry track, please, because it's just so much easier for me to work with. Let's just take, for example, a good example for this would be cereal without milk. Do you guys eat cereal without milk?
I think I have a few times, but not normally.
Directly out of the bag of my hand.
I feel like cereal without milk is with effects, and cereal with milk is dry. But I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it kind of get the point. But
I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of people that do guest spots for bands at least toss like, 1% of reverb on their track before they send it out.
Yep.
Like maybe 1% of delay. But
Yep.
these are just like straight as raw as they could be, and just sounding magnificent.
that's good, man. That's good that he actually followed the directions. So, what is the next thing? Oh, album MVP. What do you guys think, man? Oh, you lost me on Discord. Fucking AFK. Fuck. Hang on. It's because I'm not typing on
Okay.
fucking Discord. All right. So
There you
the
go.
album MVP.
Hey.
Album MVP for y'all. on
Yeah,
this.
Chris is. I mentioned it already. Chris is the album MVP. We have a video of Chris tracking the drums because we all got together in Green Bay to track the drums back at the end of 2021. All fucking 13 songs that had drums on them, and we did it in like 2 nights.
Wow, man.
We'd go in at like 9 p.m. and track until like 1 a.m. It's really fucking weird. And it was his other bandmate's studio and his band Choke, and yeah, like watching Chris play through Orb of Vanishing Light a couple of times, like he nailed it on the first try, and we were just all like fucking astonished. We were just like, holy shit, dude. There was no breaks. Chris doesn't
Wow.
punch in.
Wow.
Chris literally plays the entire fucking song
One
perfectly.
fucking take. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, Chris doesn't punch in.
Holy shit.
And so he was like, "Oh yeah, that was all right." And then, actually that fucking sucked. Let me do it again. And we're like, "No, dude, that was fucking amazing." And he did it again. And he was like, "Oh, that fucking sucked. Let me do it again." And so he did like 3 takes of the whole fucking song. No punches.
That's so
And like
crazy.
that ending, especially right after the whisper part where it goes into Alec screaming, it's just bonker. It's just like batshit double bass and blasts that are like 215, 220. Yeah, Chris is my MVP on this part. Like he went fucking nuts.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I was just going to quick finish off too that I would say Acquiescence was the other track on my mind too, just because the vocal harmonies and the layout of that song is really cool. MVP wise, yeah, I said that Chris was going to be it ahead of time, and I still stand by that. I'd also say probably, strongly tied for second would be Joe for contributing the songs that he did in the first place that turned out.
Yeah.
Being able to write the distance to have Lars on it, was such a perfect combo because of his writing.
True.
And then I'd say Joe somewhat tied with Alec too, because I think just some of the heaviness and just pushing some of the boundaries of different levels of heaviness that we've done, Alec really pushed it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
his
think,
vocal, his
yeah.
Alex vocal performance was also
Yeah, he
like
did really good.
fucking top notch on this part. So
Mhm.
Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's hard to be different in this sense because, yeah, I'd probably say Chris for sure. I when you were reacting to Orb of Vanishing Light, I had messaged, or we were messaging back and forth, and I had said something like, "Oh shit, I totally forgot how nuts the drums got at this part." And then I think, yeah, the video. Todd posted the video of him actually playing that in our chat that we had between the 3 of us, and I'd seen it years
Wow.
ago because I forget how much time's passed, and just watching him play that part is nuts. So yeah, definitely Chris there, and then yeah, Todd probably took my other one. I'd probably say Joe, just in the sense of his the songs that he contributed to this album, and having him writing music for Amiensus again is fun. He's just an insane musician, and that goes for everybody in the band. I think listening to both parts, for both Reclamation Part 1 and 2, certainly reminded me of that. Just like, again, like just thinking about as like an OG member, like thinking about like being in Jimmy's office at his house when we were 15 with our like really crappy microphones and a laptop and just making music, and just sitting here now is just kind of nuts. Like, 18, 19 years later, I think you could go through each member and just talk about what they contributed and what they did. And so, yeah.
So what about the similarity for bands on this one, guys? And you said that it was more of a technical death. Was Allegiant on your list?
I wouldn't say that was necessarily what I had in mind initially. I would throw as far as like the more death metal influences, like the Faceless.
That's a band I haven't really got into.
Really?
No, they're good.
I only heard one track and I was like, this ain't for me.
Yeah. No, the Faceless is probably like Leprosarium, Decaying Godchild a little bit, but I'm trying to think of one or two of the bands. Oceans of Slumber is a big.
I almost
influence
picked them for the first part.
So Joe loves Oceans of Slumber, and so he is not on part 1. He's on part 2, and that is an influence for him for sure. I would say like Sofarith, like Woods of Ypres, another band that is kind of a big influence
I forgot about that.
for Joe and I. That's kind of a big one. And then kind of, do you know the band Winterfilleth?
Winter what?
Winterfilleth. It's Fylleth.
What the fuck? Spell it again?
Winter, like Winter,
Yep.
and then Fylleth.
Winter Philip. I've never heard of them, bro.
They're an English band. Thanks, Alex. They're kind of a big influence on us as well. At least Joe and I, for sure.
Well, the best part about this is after we're done doing the talking and the review and stuff, all 4 of you guys, including Alex, will get an album reaction. A fucking after stream request. So if you want to put it in there, go for it. But yeah. What about Aaron and Todd's thoughts on the genres?
Aaron, you could go
Sure.
first if you have one.
Yeah, well, I'd say half serious, half joking, but I know for Leprosarium in the chat, I was talking about, and I think we've talked about this before, Jimmy and I out, but of it being more Black Dahlia murder influence, just in terms of thinking about, again, somewhat jokingly talking about that, but just knowing, like, for Jimmy, well, myself, I say not as a guitar player, but then like Alec, that being a big influence back in like high school days. So to like kind of hear those influences in that song, I'll just call that out because that was like the main thing I remember thinking when we were listening to that song was, I could hear Alec's Black Dahlia Murder influence in that one. But yeah, Jimmy can probably speak more to that part, but.
No, that's totally accurate.
Yeah,
Like,
your
we,
vocals kind of
we-
remind me of Trevor on that a little bit too.
Yeah, no, I was 100% attempting to sound Black Dahlia in terms of the vocal style for Leprosarium. So,
But yeah, I'll leave it to Todd.
Yeah, I think they already took all my answers. Yeah, there's definitely like, I don't know, there's just so many good different parts about part 2. There's some just kind of chunky ass riffs. There's techy, like some tech riffs. There's just kind of all the cool bases covered. And still, I'm glad that we were able to keep like that melodic edge that we have to our music. So it's kind of all over the place, but I think those guys kind of nailed the bands for those.
Oh yeah, dude. So yeah, man, the genres are very technical death. Like I said, tech death, and this album is more geared towards death metal in general. This part of the album.
yeah.
But yeah, I think there's not too much to be said about that. I think we can all agree on that. What do you guys think that a fair rating for this album would be from just the casual listeners never heard of you guys? What do you think that you would hope to get from a person that's never heard of you before? Like,
Part 2 and part 1?
Yeah, just as a whole, you guys can, answer it.
Yeah, I'd say like as a casual like metal listener, I would feel like it deserves at least like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I do agree.
Just going from the perspective of like, I think production wise, it was definitely the best produced album we've ever done.
Oh, for sure.
I would also say that performance wise, like it's very good overall. I could nitpick things just because I was involved deeply in like pretty much every song passed through my hands in terms of either doing the vocals or arranging this final stems for the producer or for the mixing engineer.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, like, as if a casual listener had never heard of Amiensus and they picked up Reclamation Part 1 and 2 and listened to it, like, it's like a solid B.
Bro, that's still a good album, though. That was my first listen with you guys, and it got me into y'all. I was like, it was pretty good, man. So, I'm going to jump into this final ending here, and then we're going to kind of talk about some other stuff whenever... Actually, we'll just talk about that first, then we'll jump into the final ending. All right. So, as far as the future, what do you guys see going? Tech death, or you sticking to your roots at melodic black metal?
We're working on 2 projects right now. One is like more of like a folky acoustic based EP or album,
like Opeth?
I guess you would call it. Yeah,
Okay.
a little more Opeth, a little
from
more
Morphus?
Agalok.
Okay.
Yep, and then the other would be just like our traditional like album style, where every song's got kind of its own thing going on, but they tie into each other.
Nice.
I would say there's probably a little bit less of the death metal and a little more of the more like kind of gothic metal sound to it overall so far. I mean, we have like 9 tracks already for that album, so that typo.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no,
Is that what
typo's
you're
a
talking
big
about?
influence for Joe and I.
No
especially.
way, bro. I'm
Yeah.
so ready for
definitely
that,
Joe.
bro.
Joe talks about
oh
typo,
my
yeah.
god.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Joe got me into typo 15 years ago.
I'm so ready for that. Holy crap. Yeah.
But yeah, there's
there's-
already a lot of music written for the next 2 projects
Wow.
in terms of at least demos.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude our album reaction to Reclamation by Amiensus. Not Amiensus, Amiensus. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that.
It's all good.
Don't be a part of that 95%, guys. Tell them. Don't be a part of that 95%. Click the motherfucking subscribe button right now. Don't be a little bitch. All right? Click that shit.
So
I'm just kidding. You're not a bitch. But still, please click it because it helps supporting us. I'd like to say that this is easy. It's not. It's not fucking easy. Editing sucks. So the least you can do is leave a like, leave a comment, share this around. Please subscribe because you don't want to miss what's coming next. Our next album reaction will be a solo deathcore artist by the name of Fuma Koffer, and it will take place next Saturday on the 14th. And I want to thank the boys again for being here, and thank you, the viewer, for watching. Peace!